भगवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ओम इष्टपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात देशधारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरोभश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading Srimad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 11, Text 34, Calculation of Time from the Autumn. Yad ardham ayushastasya parardham abhidiyate purvaha parartho apakranto hi aparo adya pravartate. Yad ardham ayushastasya parardham abhidiyate purvaha parardo apakranto hi aparo adya pravartate. Synonymous, word by word translation. Yet, that which, artham, of, ayushaha, of the duration of life, tasya, is, parardham, a pararda, abhidiyate, is called, purvaha, the former, para ardaha, half of the duration of life, apakrantaha, having passed, he certainly, aparaha, the later, adya, in this millennium, pravartate, shall begin.
The verse number again is
3:11:34. I think already I text you 3:11:34, Prabhuji. In your can you please double check? I can't hear.
Yes, one second. I'm just changing the sloka here. 1 minute, so people can see it. 1 minute, please.
I think you changed to 4:11:34. Is it?
Yes, I did 41. Okay, all right. It is done now.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
3:11:34.
Yes, here it is.
I just repeat again. Yeah. Okay. 3:11:34. Yad ardham ayushastasya parardham abhidiyate purvaha parardo apakranto hi aparo adya pravartate. Yad ardham ayushastasya parardham abhidiyate purvaha parardo apakranto He aparo adya pravartate. Synonymous, word by word mean. Yet, that which, ardham, of, ayusha, of the duration of life, tasya, is, parardham, a parardha, abhidiyate, is called, purvaha, the former, paraardhaha, half of the duration of life, apakrantaha, having passed, he certainly, aparaha, the later, adya, in this millennium, pravartate, shall begin. Translation purport given by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The 100 years of Brahma's life are divided into two parts. The first half and the second half. The first half of the duration of Brahma's life is already over, and the second half is now current. Purport. The duration of 100 years in the life of Brahma has already been discussed in many places in this work, and it is described in Bhagavad Gita 8.17 also. 50 years of the life of Brahma are already over, and 50 years are yet to be completed. Then, for Brahma also, death is inevitable. Okay. So, in Prabhupada purports, 50 years of Brahma life is over, and 50 years yet to be completed. And Brahma also, death is inevitable. So here I say Brahma death is also inevitable. So after 50 years of his years, Brahma also have to die. But very important to note that after 50 years and how Brahma spent 50 years also very important. Brahma spent all of his 50 years in the service of the Lord, and balance 50 years also he plans to serve the Lord. And after Brahma's death, he is being a pure devotee. Because why? Engaging service of the Lord, he will go back to Godhead. So in contrast to that, how are we spending our time? It's very important to understand. Brahma may be having very huge life of his 100 years. That also we will see. But how was his spent his time and how he plans to spend balance his time is very important. That is actually it is mentioned how he spent. Actually it is given here in this scriptures, that after his death, Brahma and other great sages too, who have come to Satya Yuga, they are generally promoted to Vaikuntha or back to Godhead, because they are engaged in the service of the Lord. See, this is very important. So one must be engaged always. We have to um, take the examples, how. But when you go through, we'll understand some more things. So we will see that how mortal beings, I say human beings, in this earthly planet, we are all, also living 100 years, yes, but how we use our life, this is very important. And we have our time in lower propensities. And even though, we are also equally eligible to go back to Godhead, even with a small, lifespan. But even though our lifespan is comparing to Brahma is nothing, but still this human form of life is so great, being that we are actually, this was such a great, boon. It is a boon actually that we are determined, we can go back to Godhead, in the very life, this life itself. They said, Krishna says in the Tyaktya deham punarjanma na yeti mam so Arjuna. No, this is very important, very clearly mentioned Lord Krishna. Krishna is speaking about in the Bhagavad Gita for the, mankind. And he is saying, if one understands the Lord properly, just, after giving up this body, it does not come back, it does not have to come back. He will come back to me. That means he definitely, if he leave the body, remembering Krishna in all the time, he will definitely, surely, he'll come back to me. So this we will, try to understand. And today's class is, this is the real, the class begins actually, this how we can utilize the time. Brahma's life is calculated in the higher planets. It is not is 100 years, or not the same as our 100 years. Like we calculate 1 hour, 12 hours, 24 hours, or 1 week, 1 year, they're all different calculation. Brahma's day is totally different from the earthly calculation. Our 1 day is 24 hours, yes, we agree that. So we also have morning and night, and then night once again, then to morning. And our life is also as 2 spans, practically just like a Brahma. Like a 50 years of Brahma's life is over, another 50 years yet to be completed. So it's a 2 spans of life. And they call it 2 prararthas. They call it 2 prararthas. In there, so we live for 50 years, then our again 50 years. Of course, in Kali Yuga, when you even that much of life also diminish, that 100 years we want to live, but you can see how when you progress in Kali Yuga, our life is reducing actually. Even so, Brahma's life is calculated, is Brahma's day calculated as kalpa. This is very, we have to remember kalpa. We call it our day divas. See, that's the difference between our divas or day or Brahma's is kalpa, which consists of, like a 24 hours. Yes, we say Brahma's 1 day, if we calculate, we cannot calculate our numbers of hours. Brahmas. Brahmas, they can be calculated in numbers of Divya Yugas. This is very important. One day of Brahma, in how many Divya Yugas? Probably fresh devotees, if they're say Haribol, or if they don't know Haribol, or if they know, can you please, anyone, fresh devotees? Okay, so Brahmas, is anyway, one day of Brahma is 1,000 Divya Yugas. See, this is, you have to remember, this is what is that, the meaning of Divya Yuga. This is very important. Again, one full cycle of 4 Yuga is called one Divya Yuga. And there is Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So all these 4 Yuga is called one 4 cycle is called one Divya Yuga. And these are called individual millennium or yugas. Then our cycle, then each cycle of them over, when they passes, that avadhi, that is called avadhi, that means time, that avadhi means that time period, is called one Divya Yuga. So all 4 cycle one passes is called one Divya Yuga. And Brahma, one Divya Yuga means 100 of such Divya Yuga, 1,000 of such Divya Yuga is one day of Brahma. That means I have not completed his lifespan. It is just one day. That means 12 hours of Brahma's 1,000 of such yuga is one day. That is 12 hours. So another 12 hours what? Some night to morning, another. So another balance time is also there. Night is also there. That we are calculation now. So one day, daytime of Brahma is 1,000 Divya Yugas. And if you, one Divya Yuga, we know all 43 lakhs 20,000 yuga years. That is called one Divya Yuga. In one Yuga, multiply by 1,000. If you multiply by 1,000, that is one day of Brahma. Similarly, one night is also equivalent to that. So then it is someone is really scratching their head. Oh, what is happening here? It is a Bhagavatam class or is a math class? So this is now. This is Krishna conscious means is all science. You have to understand. See now, then similar to that, 30 days. You can just multiply 30 days on 1 month, or a month. Then approximately it is calculated. Brahma's life is day and night. 311 trillion years and 40 billion years. That is, Brahma's age total. And that is, imagine 311 years and 40 billion years of life of Brahma. Now, so Prabhupada actually is, he compares it very nicely from our viewpoint. It looks, it look fantastic, no doubt. A great, what a lifespan is. That is why sometimes we find from our viewpoint, when there is a life described, sometimes you will be surprised. Oh, Vedas are talking about the Satya Yuga. There is now there is no death. Life is nearly eternal. And devatas, they are drinking amritas. When they churning the milk, demigod and devatas, the nectar came out. Muni Murti distributed the nectar, amrita, devas. Is look like they are eternal. Look like eternal. Uh, is but they are drinking amrita. Why? We hear that they drink nectar, they become amar. They would not die. They would consider to be amar, but actually this is all in comparison to our point, in comparison to our viewpoint of life, like eternal. Their life is something like no death. It does not mean that they don't die. Srila Prabhupada given two comparison. One comparison of Brahma's life from our viewpoint, and Prabhupada says it looks fantastic and it looks interminable. So how much God, oh my God, is life not getting terminated? Only 50 years of is over. Now here said his life is just like a brief of flash. We find, from the eternity is to Brahma's life just like a flash. The night, we know that there is night, there is when a cloudy, especially in the rainy season, about in the cloudy, like in the evening, when there's a dark cloud, and you can see there's about to rain, there's there's a thunderbolt or thunderstorm. Is how you can see here, you can see that just is a flash. It is like comparing Brahma's life, it is from the eternity point of view. So Prabhupada gives the example, this Brahma is nothing. There are millions of Brahmas from the causal ocean, where the Lord is lying Ananta, and the Lord is Yoga Nidra. It is not Yoga Nidra, it's not our Nidra, like we sleep, we completely forget everything. But that Lord Yoga Nidra is always thinking of devotees, how to protect devotees all over the universe. That is, Yoga Nidra, Lord's, and when is Yoga Nidra, millions of universe, Brahmandas coming out, Here is talking about one Brahmanda, millions of such Brahmanda coming out, and the millions of Brahmanda, the example is given. We saw how in terms of eternity, our Brahma life is something like a flash, coming up and going away. In the ocean, if anybody go to the seaside, in the sea, in the like a, it appears like a bubble, like appear like a, so in the waves, if you go to the seaside, you see the bubbles are forming and diminish immediately. That is how the universes are like that from the eternity point of, some bubbles are formed and some immediately vanquished. This is how the Brahmanda material creation is described. They say bhutva praliyate. In comparison to eternity, this is how much it is. On this small lifespan, we have so much attached. This just for 100 years, we attach so much in such a way, attached, forget about going back to Godhead. We don't want to, leave small pity, small earth here, So that is why there is a beautiful teaching of Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto, where he is asserting, very enthusiastically, preaching to his classmates. When the teachers go away, then he start preaching his classmates. And how he preach? He says, Kaumaram acharet prajno dharman bhagavataiha durlabam manushanam janma tadapi adruvam artadam. Why are you spoiling your life? Bhagavad Dharma, Krishna conscious, trying to understand about the Lord. You should begin at very tender age, when our conscious, just begin under the 5 years, just that age. Try to understand what is what. When we start, developing some kind of discrimination from that, very time, we should begin to cultivate, Krishna conscious. Yes. And then he is very beautifully preaching. And unfortunately, what is happening is that people are wasting practically whole life. He is analyzed very beautifully, and we try to understand that. He says, the next verse says, if you give, and he beautifully says, Pumsa varsha satam hi ayas, tad ardam cha ajitatmanaha vishpalam nishpalam yad asau ratriam se shete andam prapitas tamaha. He said beautifully, pumsa of every, human being has a maximum duration of life, of 100 years, no doubt, generally, okay, years. But for one who cannot control his senses, half of those years are completely lost. Why? He says clearly. Now you understand why half of the life is lost. Yes. At night he sleeps, yes, 12 hours. So, okay. My question is to fresh viewers: how many people can sleep 12 hours? If they say 12 hours, say Haribol. In a day, 12 hours in a day. Oh, no one. That means everybody very serious, engaging, serving the Lord. Oh, that's really great. Thank you. Hare Krishna. 12 hours, sleep 12 hours being covered by ignorance, actually, if you sleep 12 hours. Therefore, such a person has a lifetime of only 50 years. Because why? 20 hours, 24 hours in a day. If we sleep 12 hours every day, what? 50 years gone completely. And generally we live for Varsha Shatam, 100 years. Generally around, okay? We don't want to live that much nowadays, if we are very lucky, But we calculate it, if we living around 100 years, okay, think that if we living 100 years, so he analyzes, he says, tad ardam cha ajitatmanaha, half of the life is not even our control. Yes, at least for those who are uncontrolled, ajitatmaha. Ajitatmaha means na ajita, one who is not conquered his mind, yes, one who is not controlled his senses, for such a person, half of his life goes away in sleep. Practically, you can see outside people, people, if they don't feel sleepy, they will taking some pills, sleeping pills to sleep nicely. That's what's happening in this modern advancement in technology. So see, actually they are wasting. Prabhupada says 6 hours sufficient. Okay, if take another 1 hour, 7 hours, isn't it? Generally doctor says 8 hours. But people who control their sleep for 12 hours. See, this is how was happening this, in this Kali Yuga progressing. Manda sumanda mateyo manda bhagya upadrutaha. Because of that dullness, laziness, all this happening, or spiritually was actually, reducing if you cultivate all this, wasting our time. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj saying, suppose if you living 100 years, one day is 24 hours, yes, and nearly 12 hours if you sleep, 50 years gone in sleep. It does not matter whether when we are a child, youth, old, it does not matter. 50 years you take out. Tadartam cha ajitatmanaha. For those ajita atmanaha, uncontrolled in their senses, ardham, half of their life is finished. It is not our control. It is, that we are, but how is it finished? Nishpalam yad asau ratriyam, without any profit. Nishpalam. When you are sleeping, where is the profit? What profit? What activities you having? You cannot gain, out of that. So he comparing, valuable this life is, first of all, out of 100 years, 50 years are gone, finished. Specifically, when we are not, cultivating Krishna conscious, when we are, uncontrolled senses, 50 years gone like that. Now 50 years gone now. Now, then Prahlad Maharaj says, again, one more, next word. Mugdasya bhalya kaishore kridato yati vimshatihi jaraya grasta dehasya yati akalpasya vimshatihi, it is said. Mugdasya bhalya means in our tender childhood. Mugdasya means we are bewildered or not in perfect knowledge. Everybody knows that age, everybody knows that perfect knowledge. No idea at all. Imagine practically, first 10 years, what is this word? We have no idea at all. In our childhood, we are completely bewildered. So mugdasya means ignorant. Ignorantly, we are past 10 years completely bewildered. We pass these 10 years, then 10 years is gone now. Now the next, kaishore kridato, kaishore kridato, another 10 years, when we gain some, conscious, we try to understand that word, yes, then we are past another 10 years, in playing around, playing around, in sporting around. Actually, in another case, if you see children, you can find whole day. If we are, leaving sporting whole day, if we don't call back to home, they are very happy. Why they are happy? Because they will, keep on playing. We just playing, sporting around. So how beautifully Prahlad Maharaj, saying, first 10 years, he was bewildered, mugdasya, ignorant. It is already gone. Okay. Another 10 years in Kridato, another 20 years. See, 10 years plus 10 years. 20 years are gone in playing. So now people are wondering, oh, what is this happening now? Almost all we are, we are not 100% Krishna conscious. People may think, but now you see what's happening in 100 years our life. Then he says, then he analyzes. Now he going back to go to the final year now. Okay, final year is going to touch the final year. Then he going to come back. Final year he analyzes beginning year. Beginning year. Now from the beginning year finish, now he's going to the final year. And what is that? Jaraya grasta dehasya. In old age, jaraya means what? We become invalid. Hands are not functioning properly. Legs are not functioning properly. Mind is also not functioning properly. Intelligent discrimination power is gone. Memory is reduced. All the senses become invalid now. See, that age. And so he is saying, yati akalpasya vimshatihi. At that time, he is saying, akalpasya. Prabhupada translate, even material things we cannot accomplish. Materially you cannot gain much at that time. Where is the spirituality? You can gain. Materially it is so, so become difficult at that time. Spiritually required, we need to understand something, but you need a fresh brain. It required intelligent, yes, to understand why our program, our and we are having association discussing why we need that. This is the important, this is our, taking to that goal, that age, whatever we did satsanga, whatever discussing now in the WECAN now, this is how we have to, very important Vaishnava association. And just not that visiting the temple and, oh yes, I did, I did charity. No, that's not. You need a intelligent, we need a knowledge, very important. And the sort of all our Vaishnavas, in this group, they are, as much as, they're discussing and realizing, they will given the realization in in the classes. This is very important. And so then what are you going to accomplish spiritually at that time? See, how many years gone? Like 20 years finished, like that. 20 years finished in invalidity. Oh, so where we are only worrying about how to place my grandson, at that time. My children is not placed properly, house has not built properly, my daughter is not very intelligent, my son is like a vagabond, all these worries are coming at that time in the old age, all this. and it's never going to, stop. It's keep going, bombarding one another. It is happening. And we are just wasting the years and years. And Prahlad Maharaj says those 20 years also finish like that. Then we may thinking now sometime in his balance. How many years? Another probably 10 years, you can say. At least, we can utilize something in 10 years. Yes, why not? At least at least we got some time. Okay, we'll see what is 10 years, what's happening now. Now all the fresh devotees are listening now. This is really important for you, the beginners program. Now actually we are taking to the beginners program now. And there he says that is the prime your youth. That time, what he says, Duraparena kamena mohena cha baliyasa shesham graheshu saktasya pramattasya apayatihi. And lusty desires are peak at that time. Durapurena, Prahlad Maharaj says, translate insatiable, insatiable lust. Mohena cha baliyasa. And we are caught because of that, insatiable lust. We are caught in illusion. Baliyasa means very strong illusion. So he is saying this, Durapurena kamena mohena cha baliyasa. Because of this, what happens at that time when we are very young? Actually, when we should become spiritually conscious, we should utilize all our energy for Krishna conscious. At that prime time, the insatiable lust, and the illusion which is very strong to overcome makes our invalid at that time. It paralyzes our life, Shesham Gruheshu Shaktasya, whatever balance, at that time, because Durapena Kamena, insatiable lust, and because of illusion, which is very strong, Shesham Graheshu Saktasya, he become tightly bound his Gruhamedi life, much, in a family life. How he passes his life there? Pramattasya apayatihi is like a madman. He passes his life working hard like a donkey for family. He passes his life. Where is the time? Where is the time left for spiritually conscious? Where is the time left spiritually advanced? So that is why he is saying, understand the value of human form of life. Don't wait for when I become young, so when I will be old, at that time, all these things, that time never comes. Just remember, never comes. He says, begin from the very beginning. Kaumara charet pragna. From very beginning, from the very childhood, itself, one should begin, cultivate Krishna consciousness. This is very, very important message. Prahlad Maharaj saying that, have to be taken seriously. Whatever we pass the life, but you have to be taken seriously in this human form of life. And otherwise, our life is passed like this. So here also we are seeing that how Brahma ji is engaged, fully in the service of the Lord. Even though it's 50 years over and 50 years, balance, and his life looking very great, rather become bewildered by the life of Brahma. Why the Vedic literature is saying that? Because forget about Brahma. forget about. People are bewildered by life even in this earthly planet. So when we see the life of Westerners, like for example, if you don't think of Brahma, you could just see like that. When we see the life Westerners, look beautifully, fair skin, you may think that, oh, I should be born like that. Why having dark skin? If I would have also attractive like this. Or when we see the advancement of Western civilization, people are bewildered. So I remember, um, those days, like school days, when I was studying, I was in childhood in Bangalore. One of the in one lane, in my lane, there is one house, big house. The parents are educated very nicely. Then later stage they move to America. You know, um, and people parents become old, and they wanted to what to do this property and all. And people they are living in Western countries, they're not worried about. They're telling their parents, oh, give that property relatives or friends, or even charity at most, if you can't find. See, that means how much just imagine the life they're leading. Similarly, in Brahma's life also is some or Satya, heavenly planets. It is like that. You may think that, but all this is going just as a flash according to the eternity. And so just imagine how much bewildered, even by even those if we compare Brahmaji's life, how we can bewilder those, how we can process the life. So Vedic literatures, Krishna is presenting that very beautifully in 8th chapter, specifically mean for she is making for understand how to remember Krishna, specifically at the point of death. Krishna says very clearly, so that Krishna saying, if you remember, if your conscious is trying to live in Swargaloka, in the higher planets, Yanti Deva, Ruta Devan, you will lead to their planets. Okay. If you want to come back to me, then he says, Ananya Chetata Manasa. You have to think always. When you engage 24 hours thinking of the Lord, to serve the Lord, then we can easily go back to Krishna. Yes. And so very beautifully comparison. Krishna is given 8th chapter. Yes. First he is discussing about and given actually independence. If you want to go back to the different planet, you can go. And later in the 8th chapter, he was stressing, if you want to come back to me, you can follow all these instructions. And this is very important. And before I'm concluding this, so what I want to say, so easy to go back to God is the process, Ananya Chetaha Satatam. Just follow this step wherever, chant wherever you possible, remember Krishna always, then once you do that, use our valuable time now, to engage Lord service, then our life become success. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. If anyone would like to say anything or comments or any question, I would take it. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Madhavendra Prabhu. Thank you very much for a nice class. It was very enlightening.
Thank you.
Yes. Anyone has anything to say, please feel free.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So just very nice class, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
But the voice is a bit slow, so Prabhu, can you speak a bit loudly, please?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So So this is a bit of a practical question, and probably I have the answer in my mind as well. But I'm just checking the understanding. So as you discussed, actually, you explained the lifespan of Brahma, and we actually also focused on the lifespan of human being as well. And generally, as you said, it's taken as about 100 years.
Yes.
And you talked about actually, if we actually spend 12 hours just sleeping, we'll lose about 50 years. So normally, so actually when we begin in Krishna consciousness, so we know that actually sleep is ignorance. And we also know that actually Srila Prabhupada used to take very minimal sleep. So when actually we start on this path, and when we actually try to put that in practice, but at the same time, means it, according to today's medical science and all that, they insist that actually you should have at least 8 hours sleep to maintain your good health. But sometimes we think that if we actually decide to actually follow them and all that, it becomes quite a bit contradictory. We try to give up sleep and try to focus more on devotional service. So how we balance this?
Yeah, it's you are right, because we need a body or sleep, or you need some to serve the Lord, which energy to serve the Lord. Yes, but we need, of course, it is not our control. It's all the sleep is required, but the theme is you have to beg for the Lord, beg for the mercy of the Lord. Lord, how I can serve you, because I need I need to serve you as much as possible. But in this time, I cannot, because I'm so tired. Maybe whatever reason, maybe I'm working in the hard or physically. Because see, for my case, I cannot chant my continuous 16 rounds at home. Okay, I'm working. I am physical job. Okay, in the sense, but when I do in the working, I have to engage Krishna consciousness, be chanting, at least take my clicker and finish as much as rounds. And if you engage in such a way, Krishna definitely in a Lord, definitely, because he's in Paramatma, they will guide you how I can best serve my devotee in such a way he can he can serve constantly on me. This is how very important. But doctor says, like as you said, 8 hours sleep is very important. I know in this material world we got, because of the many reasons, because in those days people are living 100 years. Why? Because they're having a lot kind of food they're using, kind of activities they involve, but nowadays all genetically modified, all these all this jadatva, all this that may bombarding our material body. So this one reason we can say that we cannot avoid. You can try to practice. By practice, that's why I say ananya chetata satam. You have to practice. When you practice continuously, then it will be the answer. You may eligible, you may get enough time to serve the Lord. Hope I may not answer completely, but whatever I get.
Yes, thank you very much, Prabhuji. Yeah, it was
Hare Krishna.
quite nice explanation. Yeah.
We'll wait a few more seconds if anyone has to say anything.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, very nice class, Prabhu. I've got a little question which very probably my ignorance. You talked about Lord Brahma's age and his material and spiritual and his constitutional position. What about Lord Shiva Prabhu in that context, about his age and his duties?
See, That's a very good question. But you see, when Lord Shiva and born in, as I said, in a long time ago, just Prabhupada was mentioned here, he born out of eyes, Brahma's eyes, yes. And when Brahma's eyes, when Lord Shiva born like ignorance, he was Krora, Budra, then when he realized, when Shiva was realized, yes, there is a Supreme Lord, there. Then he went to the tapasya, austerity, to know the supreme truth. But as I said, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambho, because he's a great Vaishnava, after become tapasya, you see that it is not one Shiva. There are many Shivas, or as I said, in the Brahmanda Lok, there are many universes, many Shiva. But when that's what he said, Vaishnavan Yatha Shambho. That means he's a great Vaishnava. We have to respect. We have to Vaishnava. He is also Vaishnava. That means he is also in that position, like Brahma, what he realized, and Shiva also realized. Yes, this is a supreme truth. That's what we say, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahman, Lord Vishnu. Even though they are in the cult, but the same level, and Lord Vishnu more qualities than Shiva and Brahma. And they're also equal in that devotional service. That's why he always, meditating Lord Krishna, the Shiva. When he meditating, definitely after his life, he may go back to Godhead. This is, but I'm not sure how many. I haven't read that how many years he was there. Like a Brahma, 100 years. He was all 4 yugas, 4 cycles. But I'm not really sure about Shiva's cycle of birth. Maybe I have to find out, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Madhavendra Puri once again, and for your realizations, and for the devotees who participated in this class. Now, we will now go to the next session. We complete our first session of serious class. Now we are with the beginners program, and I'll be discussing beginners program from the perfect question, perfect answers. So right now we will be discontinuing our YouTube link now, but wait there. There are people who are devotees who are there on YouTube watching us. Wait there. We'll give you a link in another 2, 3, 4 minutes immediately. So don't go away. We have to do this so that the second link can be live and that can be recorded and that can be shown. Otherwise, all the recording will go in one and it will become complicated. So there were 2 separate recordings then. So please bear with us, those who are on the YouTube channel. I'm stopping you now.